Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 70 of the Topless Robot podcast in a very different location. My name is Ryan.
I'm Ty Christian, a.k.a. Fang von Rathenstein, from the most metal band on earth, the Lords of the Trident.
I'm Colin Scott from CS Guitars, the science of loud. You can find me at youtube.com/CS Guitars.
I'm Glenn Fricker from the YouTube channel Spectre Sound Studios. I'm a professional bass guitar player hater.
Then you and I are going to have beef. I'm a bass player, and yeah.
Okay.
You shouldn't have said that. He's going to walk right
So come on over here and tell me that once you figure out how to tie your shoes.
There's a reason there are not laces on these.
Oh, checkmate. Checkmate, Glenn Fricker.
And of course, on the end.
I am Sarah Longfield. You can find me at Sarah Longfield on YouTube, or at Sarah Longfield on Instagram, or at Sarah Longfield on Facebook, and
Patreon. Patrons.
Yeah, dude.
Join her Patreon. She makes awesome stuff.
Yeah, well, Patreon,
So,
please.
where we typically tend to talk about nerd culture and pop culture and stuff like that, here we're in a very different environment with NAMM. It's
It's
all
not an environment,
about
it's a
music.
building.
Everything's an environment, Glenn.
No, it's a fucking building. No, it's a smoke-free environment. No, it's a smoke-free building. Environment's outside.
Touche.
So, have you all... I heard this is your first NAMM.
This is my first NAMM, yes.
This is my first NAMM as well. I want to start with you.
Okay.
How has your first NAMM been so far?
It's been pretty intense and slightly overwhelming. There's so much to take in, especially with when you walk into that building and there's so many people and it's so loud and you're trying to navigate the place. It's fries your brain. Like today, I just had less tolerance for all of it than I had the previous days. It's gradually wearing me down, but I'm enjoying every second of it. But it is getting harder and harder just to parse what's going on in that room.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's my first NAMM as well, and it's a bit to take in.
Yeah.
Whereas compared to us, the three of you are NAMM veterans to varying degrees.
Those two are NAMM veterans. This is my second time. And this is what Sarah just told me. This is her 9th NAMM.
Lord.
I don't know. I've been
What
going
did
to
you start when? Did you start going when you were like 12 or what?
19.
Okay.
We won't get into that because I don't want anyone to think on how long about how old I am.
Okay. No
My
math
age
allowed.
is a mystery. We're keeping it that way.
How about you, Glenn? How many times have you been?
This is NAMM number 6 for me. I started coming down in 2015, and actually Ryan Bruce from Riffs, Beards, and Gear got me my first NAMM badge. So I've been trying to get Colin to come in for the last few years. It's like,
Yeah,
dude,
you've
you
been
gotta come to
hassling him
NAMM.
for years now.
Yeah, dude, you got to come to NAMM. Finally, man, it's wonderful to have you here, dude.
That's awesome. So what have been some highlights of this week for you guys?
I think the Neural DSP booth has been blowing up. Everybody is very, very excited about the physical unit rather than the plugin. And I can say, as someone that avoids plugins at all costs because computers hate me, I'm very excited about that as well. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're calling it Doug's Box.
Yeah.
I got to play with Doug's Box. And yeah, the neural unit is, I already did a piece on that, and that's going to be coming on the show in a couple days. That seems to be the hot ticket item this year.
Yep.
I saw a couple of really other and super inspirational things. There's a dial tune. It's a snare drum that allows you to tune the top and bottom heads with this dial. And it tunes it equally, and it's just super easy for studio work, that kind of thing. And people, some of us, who are still old and boring, who still like to record real drummers and not replace them with bullshit. And third and really importantly, I think one of the coolest things I saw was a set of plugins from PSP AudioWare. And if you've been in the audio scene at all, PSP's been around for a long time. They did the Vintage Warmer, which was super popular and whatnot. They've got this new EQ and compressor system coming out that loads up, kind of like Slate does. They got the rack system and whatnot. But this thing's really cool because you can swap out the different types of compressors, and it automatically copies the settings from one type of compressor to the next, so you don't have to rechange them.
Reset everything.
Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you hear the change without that psychological influence.
Yeah.
But the other insane thing is they have an auto rider on the apparent level. So if you're doing a vocal track or a bass track or a guitar track, and you want it to set it relative, so you set it relative, and they'll just ride the fader and do all the automation automatically.
Wow.
That was super cool. So that's still
Eliminate the humans.
Yeah, right.
well, no, just that for YouTubers who need to get shit done and out the door. That's great.
Absolutely.
It allows me to keep the real musicians in place, so I don't have to fuck around. And so I just think it speeds up the entire mix process. So that's super cool in that way. You can still keep the human beings in that, and that means the musical performances. But if you can speed up the automation, I think that's really cool. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's gonna be coming out in June, I believe. It's still in beta right now, but I got to play around with it this morning. It just blew me away.
Nice. So as advertised.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Very cool.
Oh, looking around, there's so much crazy stuff. I came across Jam pedals who I'd never heard of before, and they've got some really cool graphics and whatnot. And coming out of Greece, I think he said it was, and they've got Big Llama on the booth because they've just done this Llama Extreme Delay pedal. And I got to try it. Put on the headphones, and he started twiddling with knobs as I was playing. And it starts off as like a normal delay.
Just point. Okay, can you put subtitles in for him?
He's too
Oh
selfish.
dear, here we go. Sorry, I do apologise for the accent. Yeah, so he starts twiddling with knobs, and it starts going really crazy. The delay starts to do random notes and random things.
Oh wow!
And the creativity behind that, I'm sure some person's going to make some really great music out of that, but it was confusing the hell out of me, but it was a lot of fun. But I was also keeping an eye out for stuff that's just plain absurd and just off the wall. And was down the stairs and came across someone doing subwoofer shoes.
Yeah.
So that you wear the shoes and
Yeah.
you feel like the bass coming from the soles, and I was like, okay.
Wouldn't that tickle? I think
I think I probably would.
Right. And I
Like,
think I
people-
would hate it.
Like people were trying them on, but I kind of didn't want to put a shoe on after like a million people like NAMM put a shoe on.
Yeah.
That's
you know?
a great
so they
thing.
didn't have a bowling alley where they sterilize them.
I
Just give it the little
I don't know.
spray.
Yeah. So one other weird thing was a guy showed me a plant that could play music. He had a little pot plant that he said he dug out of his hotel, flower bed that day, and he had attached, I think it was some sort of magnetic, electromagnetic sensors to the plant in the soil.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then, as you manipulated the plant, and it was all connected up to a MIDI piano thing, the plant would play notes on its own depending on its electromagnetism. And if you touched it or manipulated the plant, it would go, oh, I don't like, and it would change all its notes and start playing music differently.
That's really
I know,
cool.
it's just like that is.
That's really cool.
I know. It's just so bizarre. And I'm just like, can you scale this up to like a tree?
Oh, I'm pissed. I have to leave. Find that man and be like, what is this? Explain it all to me.
Plant, tell me your secret.
Yeah, there's a lot of
What is your
fun,
wisdom?
weird stuff in the basement.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the
Oh,
weirder
the basement
stuff.
is great. It's full
Yeah.
of lots of secret treasures.
And for some reason, there's an esports booth
Yeah,
in the
it's
basement.
giant
Yeah.
I missed
esports
that
booth.
one.
So if anyone wants to go play Fortnite, you can do so in the basement.
Well,
I remember the days of playing video games before I became a YouTuber. Now I just get to like, oh, that looks like it's fun.
there's a little overlap.
You just picked the wrong YouTube profession. You
Yeah,
could have been
right.
streaming Fortnite, and you could be playing games 24/7. You'd still hate it though.
Yeah. Especially considering what gets YouTube views these days in terms of video games or Fortnite, Minecraft, which are fun in bits and pieces. Or in the case of Fortnite, I'm sure that's a perfectly fun game without the other people. But not something I want to make a YouTube career out of.
It's like, I was an avid gamer, and then I realized it's like, but I started wanting to get serious about YouTube, so I just don't play games
It's
anymore.
very hard
wow,
to like
yeah.
overlap it. I didn't even own a TV until like this year when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna learn how to relax. I'm gonna sit in front of the TV and I'm gonna try real hard to watch it.
I did exactly the same thing. I'm now having to schedule in time to do my hobbies. It's like, 'cause if I don't do that, I won't do them. So it's like, do you know what? I've never painted anything or built a model of anything for ages. I'm gonna spend time to do that. Yes, schedule in time for video games
From
on TV
4
or
to 8
something.
p.m. I sit in front of the TV and I'm just like, please watch. Please settle me.
Please let me enjoy this.
It's like I'm nothing's really caught my eye as of late either, though. But I'm eagerly anticipating Kerbal Space Program 2.
Oh yeah.
So when
They
that comes
showed it
out,
off
I think
at
I'm going
E3.
to make some time for that. But,
And E3 is coming up in just a few short months, so we'll probably see some more footage of that
that'd be cool.
coming up real soon.
right on.
But back to NAMM for a second. With the stuff that I've gotten to see, as overwhelming as it is, I'm sure that you and I are in the same boat of like, where the fuck do I go? Where? What do I do?
Yep. No doubt we're missing tons of good stuff.
Yeah. And
You just found like the atrium wing.
Yeah.
Today
I had no
showed him
idea
where,
that
like,
the other
Motu
building-
and Avid
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
I found that
existed.
yesterday. Yeah.
we came in from a different
I
way.
didn't either, and this was like my millionth name. I was like, what is this? I found Hosa. They gave us coffee and beer and tea and water.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay, note to self, go bug Dylan tomorrow.
Absolutely. Dylan hooked it up.
Yeah, one of the more interesting things that I've seen on the floor has been the lava guitar. It's a fiberglass molded all one piece, acoustic guitar that has a microphone in the body of it, and it uses the shape of the body as the speaker. And so it actually allows you to have a chorus effect or a delay effect and reverb without being plugged into anything. So it just uses the body as a speaker, pumps the effect into the body as you're playing, and it ends up coming out the whole with a chorus or whatever you choose, which is really interesting. And they just made a ukulele version of it, so it was a lot of fun to play around with. And then aside from that, just looking at the modular synths going, that looks like a very dangerous hobby, and I'm so drawn to it, but
it
I'm
is.
so scared.
I actually did it. I delved into modulars like hard. Like I was like never leaving my house, only going to synth conventions. Like this is a secret. Like, actually, no one knows this about me. And I spent like $5,000 on modules. I had like the whole like. We were in it. I was deep. I was balls deep in modular synth. And then like I went to this synth convention and I had this realization and I was like, this is a hobby for me like 20 years from now. I was like, I've been sitting in my house in the dark for months on end, not doing anything except sitting here and plugging cables in and making bleep bloop noises. And then I was like, I need to stop or it's going to get dangerous and I'm going to get even weirder. So I sold off on my I'm saving that for like my retirement. Like I'll get into modular synths in 20 more years.
Yeah, like I know that it was just a fine line for me. If I just dip my toe into it, it's next thing I know, 10 grand in a hole, and I've got a wall.
Go to a synth convention and talk to some of the people there and see how strange they are. And be like, this could be me, and I'm gonna stop now.
Anytime I think of anybody doing modular synth, I think of the Adult Swim like Lords of Synth, where like If you haven't seen Lords of Synth, go. It's on YouTube. It's amazing. Yeah.
How about you? What's been your high point?
Yeah, as a lame vocalist, I mean, like, there's not a whole lot of gear for me to salivate over other than microphones and stuff like that. But always love chatting with the Vocalist people. Always love going to see SKB and like all the new cases that they've got. The 360 piano was cool.
Yeah, that was seriously cool. I totally forgot about that.
Piano.
The ring piano where the dude was like just reaching all that way. That was super cool.
It was so extra, so unnecessary, but so good.
Yeah.
The last time I saw one of those is like in the original TV Battlestar Galactica in the 70s.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
I really like the you and I were trying out. They have little tiny plug-in, amazing microphones for the phone.
Yeah. In this
like a very
building
small
that
diaphragm condenser.
I didn't know
I think
existed
I
until
have
today.
one.
They
In my Mary Poppins bag. Yeah.
It's like he had it on a keychain, and it was a very capable boom mic.
Here we go.
Oh,
These things are awesome.
I got the Shure one.
Yep. This
Oh,
is my
yeah, these
favorite
ones.
one.
Oh,
They
sure,
gave us
sure.
these I've tried like a lot of them. This is so weird. This is what I have in my purse. Anyways, so if I want to record some samples, I have this thing. And yeah, this is the best one. For
Actually,
sure.
yeah.
I have like 5 of these. I just keep buying them. I'm like,
Well,
I need one in
so the one that
You
they
record a
had,
whole
the one that they
song
had.
with just that?
Oh, I do it all the time. I track my vocals with this because I like it better than my SM7B.
Wow.
Wow.
This, sure, you outdid yourself. It's better than the other mic.
Check this out. This is.
Oh,
some-
you have one too.
Well, no,
Purse
this
buddies.
is. Yeah. Shh. It's not supposed to let that one out of the bag, Sarah. This one just actually attaches
bag?
to your phone like this, and it's magnetic. It works by Bluetooth, but it's got a variable pull
Oh,
pattern
cool.
as well.
That's good.
And a yeah, you just you got a gain right here, a couple of switches for your polar patterns, and you're good to go. And yeah, just magnets. Like
Wow.
so.
That's
Right
really
to your
cool.
phone so you can do
That's
video work as
convenient.
well. Yeah,
that
that's
is because the
really
only thing that I dislike about the Shure one is you just stick it in the butt, and like, it might fall out of the butt. I don't know, it hasn't yet, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a funny design.
What they had was it was like heavy duty, metal casing,
Yep.
and it would screw into its mount. Like the case doubles as a mount for it, and it was literally just mic TRRS. And it has a hook for just going on your keys.
Oh, nice.
So you just unscrew it from that, pop it into your phone, and it was a very capable boom
I'm all
mic.
about this new movement of micro gear.
Yeah,
I'm like so
right.
into
And
like
it's becoming-
fly rigs, tiny mics.
Yeah.
all
It's
of it just
becoming
being,
more
like,
and more necessary with us content creators, like
traveling,
Oh, yeah.
flying
traveling
places, playing
and
shows.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I came to NAMM, 5 years ago, for the first time, I brought a DSLR and a shoulder rig and all that shit. I'm like, I'm running around with a fucking iPhone and a mic attached
Yes.
to it.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
I just don't want to haul a bunch of shit with me.
I brought my my Sony A6500, but found
I used to have one
myself
of those.
using this guy more than
Oh,
anything,
what is
which is it's the DJI Osmo, and it's a gimbal cam.
Okay, and where do you get?
So it's by the drone company DJI.
No. I know the company.
Oh, okay,
I know the thing. Where are you recording audio to?
This records itself, and I can have it on this. But the audio, I use my cell phone, or I had Zoom H6
Okay, and
on
then
my
you
belt.
sync and post.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then pluralize for that, right?
What's that?
Pluralize.
I have not used that. I just use the synchronize functionality in Premiere.
It's in my face.
It's
in my
Cool.
face.
What's that run for?
Like 350. It's they're aiming to
Yeah.
compete
4K or 1080?
4K 60 frames.
He was using it the whole
Okay,
weekend.
I'm
It's
in.
like, I
I'm
wanted
good with
that.
that.
I
And-
want one.
This is going to be tremendously interesting for our audio listeners, but at this point, who fucking cares? Because I have to show this thing off because you're going to want it even more. Check this. So it has a little adapter that you can slide onto it to plug it into the bottom of your phone,
Right.
and then it
You
recognizes
use
on
your
the
phone as like a
phone,
monitor.
and it's still technically recording the footage to the micro SD on the camera itself. But you get a nice,
Damn.
That's cool.
and
Smooth as glass, too.
Yes.
Right.
you've got touch controls for the gimbal, so you
Oh,
can
that
have
is
it
nice.
point at other things and just like sit stationary.
Fuck that. I fucked it.
Here, let me see
That was
real
the power
Glenn
button.
broke it.
No, it's fine. Device disconnected. Let's see if we get this back going. And air.
Yep.
I was trying to find
So-
where's
He
the
did get
joystick, damn it?
He got some pretty sick footy. That's what I would say. You got some sick ass footy.
So, all right, phone connected, and doop. So this guy right here is like a little
it's right on
joystick
the-
for
Oh,
it.
come on. Is that iPhone or?
This is an Android phone, but
But it
it
has
comes with
other
the adapters for
adapters.
both.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
great. So it'll work like that, except better on iPhone.
And
Yes, absolutely.
and so let's say that Derek there, our behind the scenes man, we want to track Derek. So I'm just going to draw a box around him.
and anywhere he goes.
Oh, come on.
And
That's
just
clever.
yeah.
Not creepy at all.
We're not reminding people of how old I'm getting.
That is.
Isn't that wicked?
Yeah, and
I have
for the
to get one of
cost,
these.
it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
And how do you like the footage that you get?
What's that?
How do you like the footage?
Oh, I love the footage. The footage is incredibly crisp and clear.
That is insane.
I mean, even recording shows, I set it at 4K, 24 frames, and it's crystal clear in low light. It's great.
Here's the thing I've learned, okay, after spending many hours in camera forums and talking about, bit rates and 8-bit versus 10-bit and H.264 versus H.265 and 444 versus 420 and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I learned? On YouTube, none of that means a
No,
damn
it doesn't
Oh,
matter
no, it does
at
whatever
all.
it wants with the
Yup.
footage when you upload it.
No.
Yep.
I mean, the viewer does not give a flying fuck about
that
any of
too.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, you
there
can
is
see
that
some
as
slight
well.
bending.
Sure.
No, nobody gives a shit. Oh, well, this camera has rolling shutter. Nobody gives a fuck. You know how many
Yeah.
comments I've had about rolling shutter in any of my videos? None. I've had a lot of comments of, dude, you suck on guitar.
That's not the realest thing ever.
Yeah, and so
Use your pinky, Sarah. What the fuck?
that's
The nice one.
okay. So
That's the good comments.
since you're all YouTubers,
Yes.
what is a common critique that you get? Well, okay, so I use critique way too generously. What is the common complaint that you see in your comment section?
Well, I mean, mine are that I don't use my pinky. I mean, that's the pretty obvious one. Then there's the usual, like, people that are really mad that I'm on the internet and they're just, like, threatened by something. So they're just like, I hate you because of X, Y, and Z. I don't know if that's what I look like or how I talk or whatever. Usually some weird picking apart of, like, my minute facial expressions. So
Yeah.
it's not too bad, though. Like, that's whatever.
It is the cesspool of the YouTube comment section. Yeah.
To be.
I think the most common one would be he's wrong because he's fat.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but the thing is, I just dropped 50 pounds.
Yeah,
so
you
they-
lost
they
a lot
kinda-
of
weight.
Kinda takes the wind out of that argument.
I think that guy's been in our comment section too.
Yes, exactly. and,
Mine is usually, why don't you learn to speak English?
Right.
Yeah, I
dude, you don't have to go to YouTube for that.
No, I don't. I get it everywhere I go. Although one guy did recently drop something, I'm really angry about how fucking stupid I am for the type of hair that I've got, because you can see the receding hairline, and you shouldn't wear your hair like this if you've got this. Fuck, you're an idiot. And I was like, what? Why are you so angry about
He's
this?
pissed because
Yeah.
he has a receding hairline and he's like not brave enough to just embrace that. And he's mad.
Derek, have you been writing nasty comments on Colin's show?
I hate Scottish people.
My number one is that just people say that over and over that we look like a metal version of the Avengers, whether that's good or bad. Usually bad.
Compliment.
Usually these fucking Avengers do.
I mean, that's what you're aiming for, right?
I mean, yeah.
At least they're not calling them the Metal Spice Girls.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
And now you have to do a Spice Girls
That's
cover.
just what I was gonna say. I'm like, now, tell me what you want. What do you want?
Well, funny you mention that. We are doing a oldies but baddies again this year on my show, so we're doing 90s songs. So that's
yeah.
actually going to be part of it. It's going to be if somebody wants to do a metal cover of Spice Girls and make a video on it. Yes, you can enter.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm in.
They've
I'm
already
in.
done
Beyonce.
and
Christina
Christina
Owens.
Well, if
Owens.
you're going to do that, what band did Beyonce used to be in?
Oh, Destiny's Child.
Yeah, if you did Survivor, that would count.
Oh,
Yeah,
'Cause that's
there you go.
90s.
There you go.
Yeah.
oh. I can do that. And then we'll just keep going up until it's like, whoa, whoa.
They even went so far as to do a shot-for-shot remake of Beyonce's music video for the song.
Wow,
Yeah.
It's
that's
really
super
good.
cool.
It's
I
pretty
really
great.
need to-
I need
Ty's
to check
channel
it.
is like Hidden Gem.
Okay,
Yeah.
no,
It's really
that sounds like
hidden
They
gem.
do
a lot of fun.
It's on the blow up.
they did a cover of Beyonce's Diva and turned it into Jiva and made a gent version.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so the original was only drum and bass and Beyonce singing.
Okay.
It's like, what the fuck do you do to make that metal? Well, gent. You know? So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of YouTube, and I think this is a relevant question for, especially lately with COPPA and all that shit kind of threatening everyone and YouTube not taking responsibility for it. Why do you keep doing it?
Why do I do what I do?
Why do I keep putting myself through this pain?
This is a deep, hard-hitting question in my spirit. I wake up every day and I think, why do I still do this?
My incredibly tiny ego needs constant verification by others.
That's pretty much.
It seems so much like so much is going wrong on a regular basis.
It is.
And it's getting worse
Yes.
and worse for
It is.
creators.
Yes. 100%.
So why, do you ever seek out alternative ways of delivering your content to your audience?
We're all doing that, I think, right now. Everybody is like, okay, what else? Like, everybody's monetizing all the platforms that we possibly can. I make money on my Instagram. I make money on my Patreon. I make money on my YouTube. I make money just being on Facebook, being like, I'm broke. Someone's like, hey, I need this done. Will you do this for me for money? I'm like, yep, deal. Like, I am for hire, except for, like, only for music things.
That's Lero's ground rules.
Only for music things. That is it. Nothing beyond that. People have been trying to get my feet. So I'm not that desperate yet. We'll see.
You made that one video in your car, and then everybody's like, feet pics, feet pics.
Yeah, dude. It's aggressive. I've had a guy trying to buy my stinky, sweaty shoes for like a month. He's like, please, can I buy your shoes? I really want to buy your shoes. I'm like, no, dude. I can't afford another pair of shoes. Like,
Well, give them the fuck off rate.
Pause for just a second.
cool. And on that note,
Okay, now we're good.
The scary thing is when you give somebody the fuck off rate and they say yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
It's like, oh shit.
I know. And
All right,
I-
I'll
like,
give you my shoes, 10 grand.
Yeah, you can't even do stuff like that. And if I even respond, they freak out. They're like, oh my god, they start drilling me with questions. Like, this kid was sending me dick pics like every single day for a week. So anyways, I dragged him through my stories. I was like, tag and shame, like, this kid.
You're supposed to send that shit to his mother.
I know, I tried to look for his mom. I couldn't find it. That was my first thought, though.
That
And,
reminds me of one that you got very recently.
Which one?
About
sent her
the
one?
dude asking you to floss with his dick.
Yeah, that was the one that I'm
Oh, that's
That was the guy
okay.
that was
yeah,
the floss with his dick guy?
he's been at it for like 2 weeks now, so I just drug him through my Snap or
Jesus
my
Christ.
Instagram
Wow.
story.
Does that mean that his penis is so tiny you could put it
I
between
know.
your teeth?
I was like, dude, really? Did you think this one out? Like, I was like, but anyways, I was just annoyed with him. I was like, please stop. And I don't like to block people because I think then I'm giving up, and I am the one that dominates the thing. Like, I don't submit to that kind of bullying. So I'm like, whatever. You're gonna follow me, and you're gonna feel bad about me not opening your message ever. Like, that's how it is. Anyways, so yeah, I was dragging him, and he just ended up being nuts. I don't remember what the point of this was. What was
Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, why do you
Why
do
do
what
I
you
keep
do?
doing this?
Why am I still doing this? I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment. Weird old dad issues. I don't know. Just me spitefully continuing to pursue music just to spite my dad. I don't know. No, we're on better terms now. I've been doing this for long enough where he's like, all right, I guess this is your life. And I'm like, yes, it is.
Okay, first and foremost, you mentioned COPPA, and everybody freaked out when that happened. It's like anytime YouTube tweaks something
Yes.
minor, everybody
Yeah.
freaks out and it's the end of the world and the sky's falling and all this shit. It's just like, okay, chill. It'll come, it'll go. Just fucking deal.
Sure.
I don't make content for kids, so I don't give a shit. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
sure.
It's like, if I'm somebody who makes $700,000 a year taking toys out of a box, I'd probably be concerned because you're taking away comments and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we're not really affected by that. too
yeah,
much.
exactly.
No.
I'm not into exploiting children for profit, so
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
But and I feel like the reason that people are paranoid about it is because of how vague and ambiguous YouTube has been about
Yes.
it.
They'll give you
Yeah.
no
It's been
information
super
on
vague.
what
Right.
counts and what doesn't.
And even
Well, you just put this is not made for kids. Anybody who watches your show
Yeah.
or my show or your show is going to go, okay, this is not made for kids. You'd have to be a
Yeah.
fucking moron.
Yeah.
Or a bass player.
I think where it gets tricky is
damn it, Glenn.
it gets tricky with like video games
Yes.
and like I don't know, anything really involving that culture. Like if I was directly doing video game things, that would be a huge problem. But the stuff that we're doing, music related things, it's just so broad spectrum. You couldn't really tie it,
Sure.
especially metal. You
And
know what I mean?
I understand they do have to take steps. When you got a video aimed at kids and then you got sick bastards, putting all these crazy comments there that kids are going to read. I'm like, yeah, you got to do
absolutely.
something about it. So, got to give
It's
YouTube
also
some slack
though.
there.
Let's clarify. YouTube is absolutely not doing this out of any kind of moral.
No,
like,
no.
motivation. They're only
absolutely
doing
not.
it because the government was like, "Look, if you don't do this, we're shutting the whole thing down."
Well, they're
Like,
only doing it because they already got slapped with a fine for
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they were going to get shut down. So they don't want to come at creators. They don't want to limit anything else. They're not great, but they're not like looking to like destroy creators. They're just saying, "Oh shit, if we don't do this, like we're fucked."
Yeah.
But I will say this: it's been an absolute joy to do this. I get up every day and get to fucking make videos for a living.
Yeah.
Come on. I spent 25 years working in manufacturing. I've still got issues and injuries from that repetitive strain injuries, that kind of shit. So why do I do this? Because it sure beats the fuck out of what I used to be doing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
can see that.
you know what? I'd rather be doing this than flipping burgers or, just working on an assembly line somewhere or any number of the other millions of crap jobs that people have to do.
Yeah.
Just to do that. And the thing is, not only do I love doing what I do, I'm absolutely fucking grateful to be in the position I am in because
Hell yeah, dude.
a very short time ago, I was in the position of doing shitty jobs. So believe me, I get it. And
I'm about to go right back to that. Keep going.
So that's the thing, and so like my shows honestly has been a lot about consumer advocacy for the home recording musician and try and find the good deals and try and steer people away from bad products, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Because I know how hard people work for the money they get to be able to buy this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's-
Wow, thanks for taking it away from all the rest of us. That's the answer. Now my answer sucks.
Your floor, Colin.
Yeah, how do you follow that? I was going to come and say, well, if I didn't do this, I just have to go and get a real job. So, and it's pretty much what you're saying there. Working other jobs that you don't really enjoy doing. I've done that, and I'm very fortunate to come into the place where I can get up in the afternoon if I want to, and I'm my own master, and work at my pace and get the things done, and be creative and be an educator in a form that affects people and influences people. The amount of people who've come and spoken to me just the last couple of days here and said how much they've learned from my content, and I feel that's I always wanted to change the world. I thought I was going to do it by getting a physics degree and then like discovering the new thing, and maybe I always wondered what would happen if I'd gone and got done the PhD and then gone to CERN and started colliding particles. Would that have been a more fulfilling life for me? But you know what? I'm changing the world in a different sort of way, in just tiny little increments, and you get to have those little interactions with people all the way through, and that's also great. I suppose it's that love that keeps me doing it, despite all of because there is a lot of shit parts of the job. There's a lot of cleanup involved in being essentially a community manager. Yeah, right. But
That's the best part, though, is the people that you meet doing YouTube are like this.
Yes.
And this is the most pure, best part of the music industry that I've ever encountered. I've met agents, managers, people that do booking, people that run shows and promote and do all of that. And, like, the YouTube is the best community that I have found yet in this whole cesspool. YouTubers
Everybody's
are great.
awesome.
They're so supportive. They just want to help each other out. Everybody's just in it for the betterment of everybody else. We all benefit. When someone does well, all of us that are connected to that person benefit in some way. So it's the best community on the internet in the music industry right now.
I'm learning that firsthand. I mean, aside from Glenn being a bass player, this is our first real venture out with
I get
other
offended
YouTubers,
if your
so.
opinion meant something.
But yeah, the amount of people that you can just contact and ask questions, and they're willing to respond.
Oh yeah, they take the time of day to just walk you through it.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so fantastic. So
And that's the thing. No, seriously, I just to kind of verify what she's saying is everybody's down for a clap. It's like, hey, you want to jump in on my video? Can I jump in on yours? It's like everybody helps each other out, and it's just everybody's in the exact same situation, and it's just awesome. So.
And that's like the whole reason. Like I have almost quit YouTube probably 47 times, and there's some act of the universe. Like Rob Scallon will call me, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bad." He's like, "Why? Why is it bad?" I'm like, "I think I'm done doing YouTube forever. I gotta quit music. I'm gonna have to go back and work at Guitar Center. I just can't do this anymore." And he's like, he will pep talk me for 4 hours. He's like, You do not need to do that. You have all the talent and drive. You just need to put it to action and stick with it and don't give up. You always almost give up, and you just need to not give up, and you'll be okay. And I was like, thank you.
That's awesome.
The trick is
That's
to not
really
quit.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
to not
it's the
quit.
resilience to keep going
Absolutely.
despite all the things. I've been the same, I've thought about, I'm giving this
Yes.
up. I am
Oh,
so
God.
sick
I'm
of
so
it.
done, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just, you just can't, because there's so many people supporting you every time you fall down. If you reach out to any other YouTuber, they just will take the time to bring you back into it, remind you why you did it in the first place, and that's enough to keep going with it for sure.
Many of the people in what we do are the best friends I think I've ever had.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
it's crazy how instantly people connect with each other as well. You'll meet someone for the first time and you're instantly best friends
Oh, yeah.
with them,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's so bizarre. And they're like, "Oh yeah, come over, I'll come and hang with us." And it's like I've known you for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Right. It's just you don't get that anywhere else.
And the thing is, we only get to hang out every few months or something like that.
Right.
Like it'll be an event or something like TGU or an OER thing
touring or whatever.
or whatever. And it's like, oh great, so we never get on each other's nerves.
That's the real thing. We spend
It's
all
like-
the sad time, bad time in the hole making the videos, being crazy. But then, when you're in person, you're like, oh yeah, this is nice.
That's why all of the YouTube drama channels feed off of the people who, there will be YouTuber houses where
Oh, that's a
they're
mess.
a bunch of
Why would
YouTubers
you
all
do
going
that
in on a
ever?
house
Yeah.
together.
Like Michael Reeves.
That's where all of
and-
the YouTuber drama stuff comes from.
Fair
Well,
enough.
our
Yeah.
little niche has no drama. Only good things.
That's right.
I mean, now I probably jinxed it.
You just created drama by saying that.
Actually, somebody did try to stir some shit up
Really?
earlier. Yeah. Let's not.
Love it.
We're not going to acknowledge that, but just let's say
It's not going to stick.
No, it's not.
gonna
It's
stick
like because it's
because-
bullshit.
There is no drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything anyone says, it's all shit. As you say.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody tried, but it's just like, no, we don't need this. We really don't. So
Yeah.
it's like, it is what it is. But I mean, for the most part, not for the most part,
For the part.
For the part. It really is. Everybody kind of looks out for each other, and it just goes along. And then again, why do I keep doing this? Back on that question. Okay, here's a real good point. Yesterday or 2 days ago, 3 days ago, how many days ago was that? We were at
God,
Boutique
yeah.
Amps.
Seems
We
like
were doing
forever
a
ago.
thing,
Everybody said y'all.
and we were doing a thing at Boutique Amps, and I got to interview Steve Vai on my show.
Oh, yeah, I
that's
saw that.
awesome.
And so I sat down, and Steve I takes one look at me. He's like, "Oh, I know you. I love your show." And I'm just like, "Dude," I'm just like, "Oh my god!" I'm just doing mental backflips. And I'm like,
That's
oh.
awesome.
I'm like, "Oh, I've only been a fan of yours since like 1985."
Yeah, I mean, shit, that's way better than our Steve Vai story.
Oh, yeah.
We ended up at the Metal Hall of Fame induction ceremony,
Oh, wow.
and a friend of his got us VIP badges, and we were like 10 feet from the stage.
He's Canadian. He's probably very familiar with Thor. Do you remember Thor? Yeah. Okay. Real quick, synopsis, right? Friend of a friend of a friend through playing.
If you're gonna bring up Canadian metal bands, bring up Void
Dude,
Body.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but so many people are not familiar with you say Thor and then no.
The only reason Thor ever got any airplay is because the law said they had to play 33% Canadian content.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So
Sorry, Thor, I was not a fan.
through a series of weird connections, I ended up accidentally singing on 2 of his albums, and anyway, so yeah, the bass play. So Thor was getting inducted last night or Wednesday night. Yeah, I know.
So what?
I don't know. So yeah, so the bass player calls us up. He's like, "Hey man, I can get you some wristbands for the show." And we're like, cool. So we get there, and he's like, not wristbands, but like VIP passes. And so we're 10 feet away from Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. I'm like, ugh, and we're just sitting there like, this is happening. This is real life, I guess.
Yeah, that was our night one when we got here.
Yeah,
on
this is
Wednesday.
That was his first 2 hours at NAMM.
Wow. Yeah.
Now you just gave me a
That
great
is really
idea.
cool.
I should do like a top 10 worst Canadian metal band ever.
Yes,
I think Thor's going to be in the top 3 at least.
Well, if you search for like Thor band, the first thing that comes up is Thor dash the worst music video ever made on YouTube.
What was like the dogs at bay or whatever?
Keep the dogs at bay, keep the dogs away.
It was terrible. It wasn't even heavy. It wasn't even remotely heavy.
My middle name is Anger.
Anger is my middle
Anger
name.
is my middle name. That's what it is. Yeah.
Wow.
That's looking at Danger is my middle name and going, you know what? Drop the D. Perfect.
You got it.
Yeah. So we're getting probably pretty close to your time
Time.
limit.
I got till 7. I got till 7.
I
so
gotta
I'm
head
good.
kind
Okay.
of soon. We got a long.
Oh, yeah,
drive,
yeah.
So I might have to.
What are you guys
Could I-
driving anyway?
Driving to Minneapolis, so we have a
No,
30.
what are you guys driving?
Oh, a 2005 Toyota 4Runner.
Did you change the oil?
I did.
Good. Okay.
I did in Dallas. Once
Um,
more before I go home.
but
Oh, you're gonna love driving through Amarillo. It smells
Before,
like death and shit.
Tight. Thanks for the heads up.
before I let you guys loose, what is something, whether it be applicable to your YouTube career or to whatever that is coming out, in the future that has you kind of stoked, that has you excited for new things that you'll be able to do or something like that?
I don't know. I'm just working on a new record right now. Kind of been slow going on that for a myriad of reasons, and I have a signature guitar out, but that's not like coming out. It just happened, but it's cool.
That's fucking awesome.
I'm still
That
riding
is
that
so
like
rad.
I'm riding
It's
that
really
wave
awesome.
as long as I can.
Yeah, when you announced that, I immediately went to my local guitar center. I'm like, do you have the Sarah Longfield Strandberg? But none of my friends have ever had a signature guitar before.
Only the big cities right now, I think.
Yeah, we're not getting them in Phoenix.
I'm sad. Glenn?
I'm not allowed to talk about a lot of that stuff because I'm like under NDAs and shit. But
Sure.
there's a lot of stuff on the go. Let's just put it that way. Great things are afoot at the Circle K. Let's just put it that way.
I'm just going to keep putting out content. We were talking earlier about, finding ways to monetize away from YouTube and move things out, and I'm starting that process because I've learned that we need to do that.
By the way, buy an SMG cock blocker noise gate.
Do all three of you have Patreon? I know you have Patreon.
Yes,
You've got the Patreon.
Okay, so
My patrons rule.
Lifesaver, literally lifesaver.
Patreon tends to be the solution there.
That's
then,
like the base.
Yeah.
That's what keeps
So
me going.
I've got that, and I'm planning on doing some more, long form, sort of almost like lectures or an educational series, which you would then pay for.
Download
Pay for download, and
Yes.
it's something that I couldn't do on YouTube because you need to go into far too much detail. The videos would be far too long.
Sure.
And I can sort of do episodic, almost like lecture-like education on very basic things like electronics, basics for guitarists, and how they can wire up a guitar and show them what a capacitor is and what a potentiometer is. And, Because people ask me all the time these things. I'd love to do that, so I'm putting those things together. I'm starting to think about that. Also, I'm starting to wind my own pickups, and I'm starting to perhaps be selling those. So I'm sort of putting things together like that, just for so they'll be handmade in very small quantities.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, so things like that.
Actually, yes, I do have a lesson coming out later this year called Total Heavy Guitar. I've been working on it for a couple of years. I remember telling her about it. It's going to be about 8 hours long.
Oh, wow.
It's everything I know and I've learned over the years about miking up guitar cabinets, how to tweak the amp and get a really great metal sound by using just combinations of amps, speakers, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Mics, and just figuring out what works and how to make it work, that kind of thing.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
It's cool.
it's pretty comprehensive, and we're just still we've got it edited, but we're still fine tweaking. Just we need to do a bunch of stuff though. It's a huge project. I've been on it for a couple of years, but it's coming.
Digital
Nice.
assets.
Yes,
Digital assets are key.
yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
They really are. Lessons, just downloads, that kind of thing. They work really well. I mean, I started selling gate pedals, and they're doing great. But I mean, the problem is you got to run down shipping issues. And all
Sure,
that stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
that does take up time.
Yeah. How about you, Ty?
The thing that I'm really excited about is I'm working on a new series for the channel that's going to be it's going to be like a reimagining of the Three Tenors, the opera shtick that they do in their live show, but it's going to be over Skype with a bunch of power metal vocalists. So so we'll be singing opera, which will be like guitar backed and like full symphony and guitar backed. And then, like, right in the middle of, say, La Donna è Mobile, we're singing, and then the third verse kicks in, and then, wait a minute, we're getting a call. Like, oh, who's that? Oh, my God, it's Sarah Longfield. So, and we're working on that. It's myself and John Yellen, the singer from Judicator. and we're working with just a bunch of other really awesome like power metal vocalists, YouTube vocalists, putting that all together. So I'm really excited about that.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
Awesome. Well,
Ty's channel is like,
Okay.
you gotta check it out.
What's your channel called, Ty?
Lords of the Trident. Yep.
Yeah.
The
Lords
most
of the
the most metal band on earth. That's us.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm looking
It
at it
is
right now.
genuinely a good time.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess we'll wrap it there for this very guerrilla-style shooting of the Topless Robot podcast.
Yep.
I want to thank everyone for agreeing to be on the podcast with me. And
Thanks so much for having me.
I really, really appreciate your time.
Is this you guys, all 287 subscribers?
Oh no, that's the topic. You gotta do to like the
What
actual
the fuck
channel.
are you guys here? Oh, 77,400? Okay, cool. Hey, we all start somewhere, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got another one. So
All right.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you everyone for watching and or listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Awesome.
I'm taking off today and breathe. Sometimes you have to sit if you wanna make a stand. Hate to shit, taking liberties. Taking liberties.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.
Yeah, let me tell you something, brother. You load the podcast with the rocket fuel, and you start the Mega Powers, and you hit that subscribe button. Ooh, I'm not gonna rip my shirt because it's the only one I have right now. Subscribe.